Listen up, because I'm about to reveal something you won't want to ignore. You might be living with a woman who's emotionally checked out, and she's been dropping subtle hints that you're too blind to see. These 6 phrases may seem innocent, but trust me, they're red flags. If you've ever felt the distance growing, these are the signals you need to hear. But first, hit that subscribe button and like this video. You're going to want to stay ahead of the game. Oh, and drop the city you're watching from in the comments. I love seeing where you're tuning in from. Phrase 1. I'm fine, it's nothing. Listen carefully. When she says, I'm fine, it's nothing, you need to stop what you're doing and pay attention. You've heard it 100 times, right? It's the go-to phrase for brushing off concerns. Sounds harmless, doesn't it? But it's a classic emotional shield. She's telling you she's fine, while her actions scream the opposite. Here's the thing. I'm fine is never actually fine. It's a deflection, a way to mask something deeper. She's not just avoiding a conversation, she's closing the door on emotional intimacy without you even realizing it. She's pushing you away, but not with an outburst or a direct confrontation. No, that would be too obvious. Instead, she's subtly distancing herself, testing how much you'll ignore before you notice the cracks in your connection. Let me give you a real example. You're sitting on the couch, scrolling through your phone, and you ask her how her day was. She shrugs and says, I'm fine, it's nothing. But there's something about the way she says it, the flatness in her tone, the lack of eye contact. Later, you find out through a friend that she's been spending time with someone else during her lunch breaks, but she never mentioned it. Suddenly, her nothing doesn't feel so innocent. This phrase is about avoiding confrontation while quietly letting you know that she's checked out emotionally. It's her way of hiding the truth, but it's also a warning. She's no longer invested in the relationship the way you are. Here's what you need to do. Don't let her words trick you into believing everything is fine. If she says, I'm fine, it's nothing, you should be asking yourself, why is she saying that? What's she really hiding? Because trust me, it's never just nothing. But this is just the start. Stay tuned. The next phrase is even more dangerous than this one. Phrase 2, I need space. Listen carefully, because when she says, I need space, you're not hearing a request for a little alone time. No, it's much deeper than that. This phrase is her way of stepping back, but not in a healthy, introspective way. It's about emotional escape, and you're about to see how this plays out. Now, everyone needs space once in a while. We get that. But when she asks for space repeatedly, and without any explanation, it's her way of pulling away from the relationship without fully confronting it. She's no longer invested, and this space isn't about finding herself. It's about finding freedom. Freedom from you, from the relationship. Here's a real example. She says, I just need space. And suddenly, she's taking longer walks by herself, canceling plans with you, and spending more time with friends or at work. But you don't hear about her day anymore. She avoids deep conversations, and when you ask her what's really going on, she simply repeats, I just need space. Meanwhile, her phone's lighting up with messages from someone you don't know. The truth, I need space, is a red flag. It's her way of emotionally checking out without actually ending things. She's testing boundaries, seeing how much distance she can create before you finally realize what's happening. And if you give her that space, without confronting it, you're handing her the freedom she's been craving, without even realizing it. So, what should you do? Don't buy into the lie that she just needs time to herself. Recognize it for what it is, an escape. Hold your ground. Respect her choice, but also respect yourself. A man who values his own dignity doesn't beg for space or chase after someone who's already taken a step back. But don't go anywhere. This next phrase is even more manipulative than this one. Stay tuned. Phrase 3, it's not you, it's me. You've probably heard this one before. It's not you, it's me. On the surface, it sounds like the kind of thing a person says when they don't want to hurt you, right? A softer way to let you down. But here's the truth. This phrase is just her way of dodging responsibility for her actions. And trust me, it's not as innocent as it sounds. When she says, "It's not you, it's me," she's already made up her mind. She's trying to make you feel better by implying it's her fault, but in reality, it's her emotional detachment that's the issue. She's emotionally checked out, and this phrase is just her way of covering up the real truth. She's no longer interested. Imagine this. You've been feeling the distance growing between you, and you finally confront her about it. Her response, "It's not you, it's me." You're left reeling, confused. She says she needs time to work through her own issues, but the real issue, she's already mentally and emotionally involved elsewhere. And instead of owning her actions, she wraps them up in this vague, self-deprecating excuse. The real danger in this phrase is that it puts the blame on her instead of addressing the real problem, her lack of effort in the relationship. She doesn't want to be the bad guy, so she throws herself under the bus, making it seem like she's the one at fault when, in reality, she's already made up her mind to emotionally abandon you. What should you do when you hear this? Don't accept it as an explanation. Don't let her off the hook by thinking it's her problem, not yours. The truth is, this is her way of quietly checking out without confrontation. And if you think this phrase is bad, just wait for what's coming next. The next one is a real emotional trap. Stay tuned. Phrase 4, "You're just overthinking it." Listen up when she says, "You're just overthinking it." You're not dealing with a simple misunderstanding. Oh no, this is a classic emotional manipulation tactic designed to make you question your instincts, your observations, and ultimately your reality. You've probably heard it before. You've noticed something's off. Maybe she's been distant, texting more, or avoiding your questions. And when you finally bring it up, she shrugs and says, "You're just overthinking it." It's a dismissive gaslighting move, and here's the kicker. It's not about you at all. It's about her wanting to avoid the uncomfortable truth that you're starting to see through her facade. Let's break it down. You're sitting there, feeling that uneasy tension in the air, and you ask her about the late-night texts she's been getting, or why she's so preoccupied with work and can't seem to make time for you. Instead of addressing the issue head-on, she throws out this line, "You're just overthinking it." What does she want you to do? Doubt yourself, second-guess the things that you know feel off. Here's where it gets even worse. This phrase isn't just about dismissing your feelings, it's about control. She wants to put the blame on you, making it seem like you're the one causing problems, when, in reality, she's the one pulling away. It's easier for her to make you feel crazy than to admit that she's emotionally checked out. And here's the most dangerous part. If you accept her words and start doubting yourself, you become her pawn. You start questioning your own judgment and your trust in your instincts. Slowly, you become so confused that you don't even know what's real anymore. So, what should you do when you hear this? Don't back down. Trust yourself. You're not overthinking anything. You're seeing the truth. When she tells you, "You're just overthinking it," respond with, "No, I'm not. I'm just seeing things clearly." And trust me, it only gets more manipulative from here. The next phrase will hit even harder. Stay with me. Phrase 5, "I don't know what's going on with you." Listen carefully. When she says, "I don't know what's going on with you," it may sound like concern, but in reality, it's nothing more than a strategic deflection. This phrase is designed to plant doubt in your mind, making you question yourself and, ultimately, bear the weight of her emotional withdrawal. It's manipulation at its finest. Imagine this. You've been feeling the tension for weeks. Her behavior is changing. She's distant, distracted, and avoiding deeper conversations. You finally confront her, asking if something's wrong, and her response, "I don't know what's going on with you." That sentence is a subtle trap. It shifts the blame from her to you, forcing you to question your own actions and feelings. The truth? She knows exactly what's going on. She feels the disconnect because she's the one who created it. The silence, the emotional distance, the secretive behavior, all of it points to her being emotionally unavailable. But instead of owning it, she shifts the focus onto you. It's a classic case of gaslighting, where she gets to avoid responsibility by making you the problem. Now, Let's dive into what this really means. She's not asking for clarity, she's trying to redirect your focus. It's a way of placing the blame squarely on your shoulders, making you believe that you're the one who's causing the cracks in the relationship. But the truth is, she already knows exactly what's happening. She's simply creating confusion and doubt, so she doesn't have to face the reality of her emotional abandonment. So, what should you do when you hear this? First, don't fall for it. Don't waste your time trying to explain yourself or defend your actions. Instead, calmly remind yourself that this is a tactic to manipulate your perception of the situation. Stay grounded in your truth, and don't let her rewrite the narrative. But hold tight, because the next phrase will be the real emotional knockout. Stay tuned. Phrase 6, I just don't feel the same anymore. Listen carefully. This is the one that hits hardest. I just don't feel the same anymore. When you hear this phrase, everything changes. It's not a simple shift or a temporary phase. It's the announcement of emotional abandonment, the end of the road for your relationship. And it's more dangerous than you think. She might say it softly, with a hint of sadness, but underneath the calm, there's a truth that can't be ignored. She has already checked out emotionally. By the time she says, I just don't feel the same anymore, the connection has already been severed. The love, the passion, it's gone. What you're hearing isn't a temporary issue. It's the quiet end of what you once shared. Here's a real scenario. You've been trying, you've been noticing the signs, and finally you ask her directly, what's going on? What's changed between us? And there it is, like a dagger. I just don't feel the same anymore. Suddenly, everything that once felt solid now feels fragile and uncertain. But here's the kicker. This phrase isn't a request for you to fix anything. It's a soft goodbye. She might claim to care for you still, but the truth is, the emotional energy she once invested in the relationship has been redirected elsewhere. She doesn't want to admit that she's already emotionally attached to someone else, or that her desire for you has faded. Instead, she hides behind these words, hoping you'll accept them as the final, unchangeable truth. So what should you do when you hear this? First, don't chase her. Don't try to convince her that things can go back to how they were, because they won't. When she says, I just don't feel the same anymore, it's her way of giving up without facing the consequences of her actions. Don't be the guy who stays in the wreckage. Be the man who walks away when it's already over. See you in the next video.